As I left the bar, the cold wind of the Detroit night hit me square in the face. As I took a deep breath, I decided it was time to walk home. As I started my walk, passing a small alleyway, I heard a sharp, eerie laugh. As I turned, red eyes gleamed from the alley. A hunched figure grinned, teeth flashing in the dim light. I froze. I knew the stories. The little red menace appeared before disaster. By morning, the city would wake to tragedy. Because when he shows up, trouble is never far behind. For he is the Nain Rouge.
Another episode of Kraken Cans Cast, where we talk all things cryptid, all things urban legends, and all things spooky.
Yeah. And today, I think we're maybe in the cryptid department, kind of.
I have no idea what we're into today. It's going to be a nice big surprise to this guy.
Yeah, we're doing the Nain Rouge. That's the pronunciation I'm going with.
Hey, I like it. Tomato.
This dude is from Le Français, oui. Yeah, I don't know. It was one of those I looked at like 4 different pronunciations, and they were all slightly different. So this is what you're getting. The Nain Rouge.
If you don't like it,
then
listen to it anyway. Just suck it up, Buttercup.
Yeah, just pretend I'm saying it correctly. We'll just go with that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is kind of like a little folklore, and I guess with this folklore, we're also going to dive into some of the history of the city of Detroit, which is kind of interesting, because who the hell cares about Detroit?
Yeah. It used to be booming back in the day.
Well, yeah,
just like any other city.
I feel like there's not very many points in my life where it's just like, dang, wonder how Detroit came to be so cool.
The only thing they got going for them is Eminem.
Yeah.
Other than that, like, well,
yeah, I don't know.
The Lions. I mean, they're finally relevant for their first time ever.
They still can't win in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So won't get into that. No, that'll break my friend Jason's heart. He's a big Lions fan. He's from like not far from Detroit, where he grew up, and it is what it is.
Hey, I'm a Titans fan, so
yeah. Yeah, you're allowed, dude. Like that gives you free reign to just talk shit on any team ever.
Yep.
Totally free reign. But yeah, getting into this episode, do you want to dive right into the brewskis?
Yeah, we're already.
Do you have anything new going on in your life? Anything fun?
Anything fun? Got high cholesterol.
High cholesterol. That is freaking fun, man.
It's not fun.
That's pretty fun. You had fun getting there.
Yeah, now it's not going to be fun getting her back down.
That'll be nice and easy. High cholesterol. I guess I should have just said anything new, not anything fun. Like that kind of.
I would have said it either way.
Yeah. Yeah, either way, he's just cholesterol is what's on his mind right now.
Yep. Oh, what else recently? Oh, I thought our internet wasn't working the other day. I thought, there was something going on with the wires or whatever. So I came home from work. I was messing around with it for an hour and a half, unplugging everything, restarting routers, you name it. I was even getting to the point where I thought a mouse down in the garage chewed through one of the wires. I was getting ready to come down, climb up in the ceiling, follow the wires.
Start going to town.
Yeah, just to see if one of them son of a bitches bit through the wire.
And what was it?
We haven't paid our bill since November.
Do we have the joke? Like, we have a joke at work. 'Cause I work for a utility company, and once in a while, people will like pull up and be like, "Hey, my thing's not working." And like one of the first things my coworker will always look at and be like, "Did you pay your bill?" First thing out of their mouth, like right away.
Yeah.
How does that happen? How does it not get paid since November? Switch cards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was on the card that it was on, and we didn't even think twice.
Yeah, my wife had to just get a new debit card. She got like I don't know. She signed up for some random, I think it was like a singing coach on Instagram that she found. It was like $5 a month, and they've just been charging her for like 3 months straight after she's told them she wants to cancel it. And they keep saying, yeah, but just so you know, if you cancel it, you can't use the product. She's like, yeah, I don't care. I want it. I just, like, she got so mad about these $5 every month, she canceled her card. Like, went to the bank and they canceled her card, ordered her a new one, and then she tried to program the new one and went into Aldi's and couldn't buy groceries with it. Luckily, she had my card there. I don't think it worked after like the 6th time of scanning it.
Damn.
Oh, and also she called me today. She couldn't find her car keys, so she's supposed to be somewhere with the kids at like 9 o'clock. She still doesn't know where her car keys at. This is,
Wow.
it's 8:15 at night right now when we're recording this, and she still has absolutely no idea where her car keys are for the group she's supposed to go with tomorrow. So we'll see. Probably just leave my keys at home, at least the car key.
Damn.
But yeah, I don't know. That's the things. It's all good stuff coming from us.
That happened to me recently. I got an oil change recently with my, I had my keys. I came home, put them on the table and stuff. And somehow, what happened? Oh, okay. I dropped my truck off for the oil change, took Kendra's van to work, and then her mom took her to pick up my truck during the day. So she had my truck key, put it in her purse, didn't think twice. Next day, she went to work with her keys, which has the spare on it, with my key in her purse. I'm up in the morning with the boys, like, getting ready to go, and I'm like, where's my keys? Like, I'm looking around and stuff, and I text her. I'm like, hey, where's my key at? And then she's like,
it's right here.
So I'm
it's
like,
it's right here next to our other one.
Yeah, so then my mom had to come pick me and the boys up, take me to get the key. It was a mess, but we made it work.
Yeah.
So,
so I guess when Marietta was like freaking out today, looking all over the house for her keys, my daughter was just like, "Oh, Mom, I found them." And when Marietta turned around, she just had like my son's play keys in her hands. So you know how it's like you just want to rage then, You're so mad that they don't understand the urgency of this situation right now. Oh, it cracked me up when she sent me a picture of her holding the keys and made me laugh.
All right, let's get into the beer.
So today we're at New Trail again. For like I don't know how many times we've had New Trail.
4.
Will this be the 4th, or have we had them 4
This
times already?
is the 4th.
This is the 4th, yeah. So if you can't tell what we like New Trail.
Sponsor.
Yeah, shout out. Hashtag, get after us, holler. But yeah, so today I have Flannery's Irish Ale, and this is an Irish red ale. It's 5.5% alcohol. It's brewed with a blend of European caramel malt and darker base malt, which give it a deep caramel flavor, or as Corey likes to say, caramel flavor. Mixed with bready complexities. The beer has the reddish amber color with a light tan head. It's malt forward.
Like a nice tan head.
Tan head. Yeah, I like mine. Mine never sees the sun. It's malt forward with caramel notes and limited bitterness, making it a great choice for those who enjoy a traditional Irish red ale. And how I want to compare this, so the Irish red has this reddish amber color of the beer, which makes it visually appealing in the glass, right?
Oh, yeah.
The red hue,
I was ready to drink it right up.
Yeah, the red hue symbolizes the rich malt-forward flavors, while on the other hand, the Nain Rouge, or what the translation is, the Red Dwarf.
The Red Dwarf?
Yeah. Has the appearance of just being like totally red, having red and black fur with often glowing red eyes. The redness contributes to its menacing and eerie presence, symbolizing danger, misfortune, and bad omens. The vivid red eyes and fur are key elements that make the Nain Rouge a fearsome figure in folklore. So that's how I compared it. I get a good Irish red for the Red Dwarf. Kind of like a leprechaun too. You get a little dwarf in there.
Yeah.
And when I say dwarf, I'm leaning more towards like he looks more like a goblin kind of, little hobgoblin look to him. You know what I mean? With that, let's cheers. And we can try our beer. We've been hammering it pretty good so far. It's tasty.
I'm gonna tell you.
What are you gonna tell me?
This is probably like the best red ale that I think I've ever had.
It's good. It's good stuff. Red ale makes me. I feel like a good red ale makes me think that like spring is right around the corner. It's like St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
We still have some cold days ahead, but like spring is in the air.
Yeah, winter is ending.
Fortunately, we're still in February and it is cold.
It's not ending.
Nah, I think we got snow coming tonight.
Some like ice, wintry bullshit.
Yeah,
mix.
it was ice on my way over here. Super, super sweet to have a couple brewskis and drive home in. So yeah, get into the episode.
Let's go. All right, so we're done with the beer. I mean, we're not done with the beer. We're still sipping on the beer.
And we will be all night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will be.
Yeah.
I want to hear about the origin of this thing, the Nain Rouge.
Yeah, so the origin kind of starts with this one French guy. Just one French dude started this whole just craziness. His name, and I could just be totally butchering this. Antony de la Moth Cadillac. Sounds pretty good. I think I might be hitting it right because I watched a couple like videos of people saying his name, so I kind of have like an idea. And he was a French explorer and adventurer born in March 5th of 1658 in Saint Nicholas de la Grave, France. His real name, which this cracks me up, his real name was Antonio Lament. But
So how did he get to the Cadillac?
How did he get to the De La Moth Cadillac?
Yeah.
We'll get into that.
Okay.
But he adopted the more prestigious sounding name of De La Moth Cadillac later in life. Basically, he adopted this name because he wanted to sound a lot cooler.
Oh.
And I mean, he's right.
Yeah.
He nailed it.
Cadillac.
Yeah.
That's
And he was a man of ambition and adventure, which is perfect as France started to colonize the New World. So, France kind of had this, the Quebec region of Canada. They were colonizing all that region. And you know how Canada is. It's a cold weather. At this time, it was just vast wilderness. So he was able to hang his hat coming over here and getting into the fur trade and going to different like posts and stuff and be able to make his name to himself really through the fur trade, which is a lucrative business that attracted many European settlers to North America. His exploration took him through the vast wilderness of the Great Lake region, and he developed a reputation as a skilled and resourceful leader. So in one version, Cadillac encountered a mysterious storyteller, a mysterious fortune teller. So this is where pretty much everything just kind of gets like wild. So, and there's two ways that in one version he meets this fortune teller before he ever leaves France. That's kind of like the version that is not as common. This is the version that's more common when he meets this fortune teller at the Grand Ball in Quebec City. It was a night of celebration filled with music, dancing, and just all kinds of crazy whatnot going on up there.
Ooh, I wonder what kind of crazy stuff was going on back then.
I bet it wasn't that crazy. I don't know. Dude, some crap back then is like uber crazy, and then other stuff is like, there was ladies showing their ankle.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, where are we at? Like, what end of the spectrum are we on there? Not really
And back
sure.
then, too, they didn't know all the stuff that was bad for you today that we know, so they were just smoking whatever, probably drinking whatever. Like, they didn't
care. Yeah.
They didn't know about cancer.
But I wonder how, like, I always wonder how crappy the beer was back then. I really don't think the beer could have been, like, super tasty.
No.
You were just, like, because, like, I think of, like, Game of Thrones where there's just these random bars in the wilderness. So, these guys are just, like, making ale using, like, their socks and stuff downstairs.
Yeah.
Just got
filter in it.
Yeah, just got to taste like total ass.
Or it was some of the best beer you would ever taste.
Yeah, it really could be, though.
Yeah.
You never know.
Like, when you go to those
weird.
shitty little, like, restaurants or shitty little bars in the whole of a place, and sometimes you get the best drink, the best food that you could ever imagine.
The best cheese steak.
Oh, I love me some cheesesteak.
Oh,
It
yeah.
probably doesn't help the cholesterol, though.
Yeah. Oh, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
If you die, I get this whole cast all to myself. It's going to pump your cholesterol up. I will be the sole owner of the Kraken Cans empire until this is all said and done. So when Cadillac and his wife decided to consult with an enigmatic seer. And
What the hell is that?
A seer's like a fortune teller.
Okay.
So a woman with piercing eyes and an air of mystique, she took Cadillac's hand and gazed into his fortune. You will find a great city. Man, this is, I gotta work. All right, let's, we're gonna really work
You're
on
gonna
this.
put your hands on my big breast tonight, baby.
Oh. Mate, well, you never know.
Part of it.
You will find a great city, but your ambition will come at a cost. She foretold him that he would face numerous hardships and misfortunes. Most ominously, she spoke of a creature known as the Nain Rouge, a red dwarf who would haunt him and bring ruin to wherever it would appear. Her warning to him was not to provoke or anger the creature. That's key. So she told him, if you see this creature, don't provoke it. Like, don't try and fight it. Don't anger it. Just don't be a dickwad to this thing. Or else the creature would have its revenge.
So she's the one that, like, summoned this thing? Like,
She didn't summon him. She was like a palm reader, or I don't know if the way I read it is she was a palm reader. And she read that in his palm that this creature was, like, basically going to be his demise, ultimately. So Cadillac, confident and dismissive, brushed off the fortune teller's warning as mere superstition. And years later, in 1701, Cadillac founded the city of Detroit, a strategic location along the Detroit River that would become a key hub for the trade and settlement.
So
in
he's
the
the
region.
founder of Detroit.
He found
he's the
Detroit.
daddy. The
He's
daddy.
he found
the
Detroit.
granddaddy.
Yep.
Damn.
He was put in charge of, and there's this huge fort in, like, Detroit. So this was like a key area. It's later on we're going to talk. It's a key area during wars. This fort kind of centers around a lot of these stories. He named the settlement Fort. Oh man, here we go. Fort.
You gotta be confident. Remember what you told me.
Yeah. Fort Pontchartrain de Detroit, in honor of the French minister of Maron, Louis Belpectil, Comte de Pontchartrain.
Yeah, I think it was right.
And this establishment of Detroit was a significant achievement, as it provided a crucial link between the French colonies in Canada and the Mississippi Valley. So this was a way for them to be able to do, like, the fur trade and just really all kind of trading goods using the Detroit River to go up into Canada all the way down into the Mississippi, where you had this fertile farmland and all kinds of stuff like that. So this was when he had his strike of misfortune. The first encounter with the Nain Rouge occurred shortly after the founding of Detroit. Cadillac and his men, and I also read it in another one as Cadillac and his wife, were just out for a walk. When they were exploring an area, when they came across a small red creature with sharp teeth and a sinister grin. Cadillac struck the Nain Rouge with his cane. Just reached out. I always just picture he just went like, ah, and just popped it right in the
smacked
head.
it in the head.
Ah.
Yeah.
Like, this thing was just staring at him, and it's like, what the fuck? What the hell, man?
It's like the movie Up, where the guy knocks the mailbox over
Exactly,
and he
yeah.
smacks him in the head with his cane.
Yeah, exactly. So this encounter marked the beginning of Cadillac's trouble. The Nain Rouge let out a menacing laugh and vanished into thin air.
So he wasn't even mad.
No, he was like waiting for it. Like, it's like he knew it was going to happen. Cadillac's tenure as commander of Detroit was marked by both successes and challenges. He worked to establish alliances with local indigenous tribes and to promote the fur trade, but he also faced conflicts and tension with other settlers and officials. Cadillac's ambition and assertiveness sometimes led to disputes with his superiors, ultimately resulting in his removal from the post in 1710. This was the first and not last encounter of the Red Goblin in Detroit.
So what? He found this place and then he got himself kicked out of this
Yeah,
place,
so he
basically?
Then it's like he found it with other explorers.
Yeah.
And basically when they all found, like, when it was founded, I mean, there's multiple, like, me and you were part of the founders of Detroit or whatever. But because of the allegiances and stuff that he built with some of the upper people of France, they were just like, you know what? You are in charge of this fort. So in that way, he was kind of like the founder of it compared to other people. There was a ton of explorers and stuff going into it and everything. So,
But they're like, you have the coolest name, so
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
you're getting credit, boy.
It was between him and Bert Smith. So, like, damn it. Why did my mother name me Bert?
Yeah. Or Henry Ford.
Yeah. John F. Chevy. I don't know where Chevy came from. I don't know the back end out on that one.
So we heard a little bit about this little dwarf creature. He didn't seem that big.
He's
from
not.
What you said.
No.
So, what are some of his other attributes? What does he do? What are some of his other features?
So, well, the first thing you talked about is the size, and he only stands about 2 or 3 foot tall.
Damn.
So he is.
I was thinking he was at least a 4-footer.
No, like, he is small. Like, we're talking like that. Like
You
basically,
could
like
punt him.
Yeah, like that's what you think. Yeah, but that's what he wants.
Yeah.
As you just punt him and he's flying through the air, it's all you would hear is like, because like as he's going behind, he would just be like blasting, I don't know, flame farts out his butt and burning your whole town down.
Crop dusting the whole town, causing the fires of California.
So he's bright red with a ruby complexion, giving him the name that means Red Dwarf in French. The creature is often depicted with sharp pointed teeth that add to its menacing appearance. Its eyes are said to be glowing or piercing, and a lot of times they're talked about glowing red, which glowing red eyes. I think of the Mothman. And I'm going to get into the Mothman later on.
Well, I was going to ask if there was like some type of connection.
We're going to talk about.
So there's a connection.
A
cousin.
We're going to see. We're going to talk about the Mothman
Step
later.
cousin.
Step uncle.
Ooh.
His grin is often portrayed as just mischievous and malevolent, reflecting its role as the bringer of bad luck.
Sounds like a trickster. Like that's
It
what
does
I'm
kinda
getting.
sound
Like
like,
a
yeah.
leprechaun or something,
Yeah.
or like I don't know. He's like a little prankster.
Yeah, it's like a trickster.
Reminds me of like those little from the Yule Cat episode, the Yule
lads.
The Yule lads.
Yeah, the Yule lads.
Like, I feel like he could fit right in with those little son of bitches.
Yeah, he would be like their pet. I feel like he's even smaller than them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because their mom was like 38 foot tall. So.
Yeah.
The creature sometimes depicted as wearing tattered or ragged cloth, all in all enhancing its overall creepy and unsettling look. So you just got this little tiny thing about this tall, red, nasty ass pointy teeth. Just freaking like red's the best way. Like I was just red.
Yeah, red.
Got just this nasty. Like I always just picture him like
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like hair kind of like slicked back, but it's like real PC, you know. And then just I imagine him wearing like almost like an old timey like crappy suit though. Like
Yeah.
kind of like I kind of picture him like the leprechaun in the leprechaun
Yeah,
movies a little
that's
bit,
what I was
but
thinking.
like red and maybe not quite as fat as that leprechaun is.
Yeah.
That's a fat leprechaun in that movie.
He is. He's a big boy. So, what are some encounters that people have had with the Nain Rouge?
So every encounter with this thing basically led to a significant shitty event happening to the city of Detroit. He's been seen 4 or 5 times through the course of history. All terrible things afterwards follow.
Huh.
So encounter 1, Cadillac was said to have a few other sightings with the Rouge before he was sent back across the Atlantic to France. But there were other major events after Cadillac was out of Detroit where the Nain Rouge made an appearance. So his first time after this is after Cadillac's gone. This is his first main appearance. Well, he was seen at a creek called Parents Creek. Creek located right outside Fort Detroit. Not long after he was seen was one of the bloodiest battles in the history of the city of Detroit. On a hot summer day, July 1763, the air was thick with tension in the wilderness near Fort Detroit, as Chief Pontiac, a leader of the Ottawan tribe, had laid siege to the fort earlier in May.
So we got Pontiac. Well, where's Cadillac?
Cadillac's gone. He's back. He got kicked out. He's back in
So
France.
he got kicked out. Now we got Pontiac.
Yeah, from what I read with Cadillac, he basically got sent over to France for like crimes committed in the territory and spent most of the rest of his life in jail. Like that's how that's how
Yeah.
like that. This thing did him dirty. You know what I mean?
Damn.
Yeah.
Let's talk about all these vehicles. Cadillac, Pontiac.
Yeah, and I'm sure Pontiac was named after this dude because I mean, like this dude's like a badass.
I've heard
like,
of him
yeah.
before. Yeah.
And like he rallied all these Native Americans. They just decided like they're taking over the fort, and they went up against the resistance of British forces. So Captain James Dalyell, a seasoned British officer, led a force of about 250 soldiers on a daring mission to break the siege. They planned a surprise attack on Pontiac's encampment, hoping to catch the Native Americans off guard. As British troops stealthily approached the Parents Creek, they believed they had the element of surprise on their side. However, Pontiac's warriors were ready and waiting. The moment the British emerged from the cover of the trees, they were met with a hail of arrows and gunfire. So just like as soon as they like you know how like all these fights back in the day, you just run. There's no like tactics or anything. It's like run.
Yeah.
So from the way it reads, is they just absolutely mowed down these 250. Maybe not all of them, because some of them retreated into the wilderness to hide. But for the most part, they just absolutely destroyed them. Captain Dalyell fought valiantly, but was struck down in the chaos. The creek, once a tranquil waterway, soon ran red with the blood of the fallen British soldiers, earning the grim name Bloody Run.
Bloody Run.
So I guess with locals, this is like still known as like Bloody Run to this day. And as the river turned red, it was said that people saw the Nain Rouge dancing among the dead in the battlefield. Just like I don't know. I picture him dancing like, ooh, doo, 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 doo,
Yeah.
like arms in the air, just doing like a crab dance across the
I
battlefield.
feel that too, just going between the bodies.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah, just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
The British forces, now leaderless and demoralized, retreated in disarray. The creek's waters, stained with the blood of their comrades, served as a stark reminder of the fierce resistance they faced. Pontiac's victory at Bloody Run was a significant moment in his campaign against the British rule. Though the siege of Fort Detroit continued for several more months, the battle demonstrated the resilience and strategic prowess of Pontiac and his allies. That was spot number 1. He came there ready for just the freaking British to just get moved down.
So do you think he like helped out Pontiac and like the Native Americans?
I don't know, because it is interesting to think of the fact that like they knew that they were coming. Like they thought this was a total sneak attack, but they knew it was coming.
So like, was he like maybe he was like a Native American like type of creature, and he was
something.
on their side or something. Or
Didn't even
like
think of that.
I don't know.
But yeah, that's something. Yeah, that's interesting. I also wonder if if these natives had seen this thing again and know what kind of like omen it brings.
Yeah.
So if before the British attack they had seen him like down at the creek, so they knew at this point like, oh, something bad's about to happen. So they were just on their guard, ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like maybe he's not like good for them, but they've just seen him enough
They
to
just
know
like
bad shit's gonna go down when you see this dude.
Yeah.
That would make sense. I didn't even think about that, but that's a good point. So after this encounter with Chief Pontiac and the Native Americans, the Nain Rouge went into hiding for more than 30 years in Detroit. So nobody saw him. And I always think there's a lot of times, now it's not in every story because you'll figure out there's a major event where this didn't happen, but a lot of times like this thing is seen in like the hot of summer, which I always think just adds to it. You know how when it's super hot, you're just like miserable to be out. Yeah, you're just it's miserable to be outside.
From every orifice, yeah. Orifice again.
Orifices.
Yeah.
I feel like whenever you say that word, you got to add as many S's as you can.
Yeah,
it just makes it right.
Yeah, just to get it.
So after he was hiding for 40 years, he was seen walking the hot summer streets in 1805. In June of that year, the bustling town of Detroit was alive and active.
What year was this?
1805. The streets were filled with traders, settlers, and indigenous people, all going about their daily routines.
This motherfucker, this guy was just walking the streets.
Yeah, dude, that's what. Like he just like, how you doing?
Just out there with this, like looking for a ride.
Yeah,
looking for a ride.
Not even that. Like he's just chilling. Like, oh man, what you bartering with today? I could really use a good crow hat if you got one.
Yeah.
I figure this guy wears a lot of crow for some reason. The wooden buildings, constructed with care and craftsmanship, stood proudly along the Detroit River, reflecting the town's growing prosperity. But on June 11th of 1805, disaster struck Detroit yet again when a small fire broke out in a bakery on St. Anne Street, one of the town's main thoroughfares. The flames spread quickly, fueled by the dry conditions and the wooden structures. Like, this whole town's built with wood.
Yeah.
The whole entire town. You know how it is. Like, there's basically row homes. They might not be this far apart. So the fire grew and raged and just continued to just engulf all the town. Panic ensued as residents scrambled to save their belongings and loved ones, Buckets of water were passed hand to hand, which I always think of the Little Rascals, where they pass the bucket. By the time they throw it, it's like a Dixie cup worth of water on it, you know? Their desperate attempt to douse the flames, but the fire was relentless. The heat was intense. Thick smoke filled the air, making it difficult to see and breathe. The cracking of burning wood, which we've been talking about a lot of burning wood on the show.
Yeah, we like talking about wood.
We like to talk about wood, especially if it's on fires.
And in butts.
And the city's residents echoed. The city's the cries of the residents echoed. Man, you got
Because of that wood.
Yeah. Echoed through the streets. As the fire spread, it devoured homes, it devoured shops, and public buildings, leaving nothing but charred remnants in its wake. The town's population was forced to flee, seeking refuge on the banks of the Detroit River and in nearby fields. From a distance, they watched in horror as their beloved town was reduced to ash. By the time the flames finally died down, the once thriving town of Detroit lay in ruins. Nearly every building had been destroyed, and the streets were lined with smoldering debris. The residents now homeless, heartbroken, and facing an uncertain future. But from the ashes of the Great Fire of 1805, a new spirit of resilience and determination emerged. The people of Detroit, undeterred by the devastation, came together to rebuild their town. Led by Judge Augustine B. Woodward, they laid out a new city plan inspired by the principles of symmetry and order. The new plan featured wide avenues and spacious public squares designed to prevent the rapid spread of future fires.
Hey, you know why they need those wide avenues?
Why?
For that wood.
Oh, Great Fire of 1805. You stupid. Became a defining moment in the town's history, a testament of the strength and preservation of its people. So that's what I find really interesting. Like, this creature comes when all these like devastating events are going to happen. But all these events, it's like a phoenix. Like, from the ashes rise this like something like bigger and better a lot of times from all these like events that happen.
I don't know necessarily if this thing's bad or good. You know what I mean? Like the Mothman, a lot when we talked about the Mothman, like it was like he came to like almost warn people of things from happening. Like was this dude just coming to?
Well, I think what makes this dude people lean more towards the bad side is like how menacing he is when he does it. You know what I mean? Like the Mothman was just like this creature. You didn't really know what it was. He gave people conjunctivitis of the eyes accidentally.
Yeah, he squeezed
like
out
I do.
parts. Yeah,
he farted on somebody's pillow. It just happens. It is what it is. There's no way around it, really.
Yeah, accidents happen.
Yeah, but this dude, he just does it like he's kind of a dick when he does it. You know what I mean? Like I just picture him like I'm surprised nobody saw him like crab walking through the rubble of the fire. It's like just enjoying his life.
Yeah, but
there.
maybe he's like I'm trying to think how to explain it. Maybe he's like a symbol, like of, you know, danger is coming, but just this dude's personality, he doesn't deal with it the right way and acts like an asshole when it happens.
That could be. Yeah, he just struggles.
He just struggles.
struggles.
Yeah.
Like he's struggling just like you and me, trying to figure out his place in this world.
That's how he copes with it, dude.
Well, dude, think how much responsibility and how hard it would be on your life if your job was to go around when just the shit's gonna hit the fan. Like you're the guy that shows up at your job to fire somebody. Every time you come around, it's 'cause somebody's getting fired. Like that's how this dude is.
Yeah.
Whether he wants to be or not, it just is. It's his job. His God-given ability is to just show up.
So maybe he just drinks a lot of alcohol before he has to make an appearance. So he's drunk out there. He doesn't know what he's doing.
So it's not so much menacing as it's just giddy. Because he's just, and two, he's just happy to be around people.
Yeah, because, you know, he gets, whatever. He vanishes or gets locked in a cellar for
he gets shat on all year long.
30
by
years.
People just saying, like, oh, I hope we don't see the Rouge again, you know?
Yeah.
That would wear on you for a little bit.
Yeah, so I kind of feel bad for a little bugger.
I mean, not too bad, though. I don't want to see him.
No, he can stay in Detroit.
Yeah. Well, how would you leave Detroit?
Yeah.
The metropolis. So on to encounter number 3. The Rouge didn't stay away for long this time. It was only 7 years later he made his next appearance at Fort Detroit again. On June 18th of 1812,
Did he burn his place down again?
No. He didn't resort to fire this time. He does go to other elements, though. We'll get to that, though. I feel like he's kind of hit, like he hit water already because he turned the creek.
I was going to guess fire for the next one.
Fire. What do you think this one is?
Lightning?
No, I think just people get mowed down again in this one. Really what it is. Yeah. On June 18th, 1812, the United States declared war on Great Britain, igniting a conflict that would sweep across the North American continent. Detroit, with its strategic location, quickly became a focal point in the early stages of the war. So in 1812, British forces under the command of Major General Isaac Brock, along with their Native American allies led by Shawnee Chief Tecumseh, laid siege on Fort Detroit. Inside the fort, American General William Hall faced a daunting challenge. The British forces outnumbered his own, and the threat of the Native American attacks loomed large. General Hall, already shaken by the sight of the British and Native American forces, made the fateful decision to surrender Detroit without a fight. On August 16, 1812, the British took control of the fort, like just basically just walked right in and like, here are the keys to the fort, here you go. We're not even going to fight. Took control of the fort, making a significant victory early in the war. The American soldiers, along with the residents of Detroit, were forced to endure the humiliation and defeat. General Hall openly blamed the Nain Rouge.
He blamed him?
Blamed it. Like, it is all his fault. People say that...
What did he say? What did he...
They supposedly said that the general saw him before the British got there. So, instead of going into battle, which was a battle he thought he was... Like, this could be strategic for you, though.
Yeah.
You know something,
yeah.
you know something's going to happen. You're in a fort.
Yeah.
A fort.
A fort.
It's basically made for you to
combat.
have the high ground and be ready to
Yeah.
go. But yeah. So as the war continued, Detroit remained under British control, a crucial stronghold in the Great Lakes region. The British used the fort as a base to launch further attacks against American forces and supply lines.
Those bastards.
However, the tides of war began to turn. By the summer of 1813, American forces, determined to reclaim their lost territory, launched a counteroffensive. Under the leadership of General William Henry Harrison, American troops recaptured Detroit on September 29th of 1813, following the victory of the Battle of Lake Erie. Like, I read about a lot of these, and I didn't realize, like, some of these battles. I know there's a Battle of Lake Erie, did you?
No.
The recapture of Detroit was a turning point in the war, restoring American control over the region and boosting morale. As the war drew to a close with the signing of the Treaty of Ghent in December 1814, Detroit's residents began to rebuild their lives and their town, determined to move forward from the trials they had endured. I just thought it was so fun. Like what a cowardly way out, though, for you to just be like, it's that son of a bitch and it's that Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
That Red Dwarf is why I had to give this fort up without a fight.
I seen
That's
it.
what it is.
I seen
I
it.
seen it. And I know, he was smiling. He's smiling at me. He was waving his arms like this. Woo!
Yeah, up in
It
the
was
air.
all bad.
Yeah.
You know what? I feel like that dude puts his arms up a lot.
Yeah.
But you would too if you were 2 or 3 foot tall. You gotta look bigger.
You gotta make
You're
yourself
doing everything
big,
you can to look bigger.
Like you're fighting a grizzly bear.
You know, I heard if you got, like, you really have a bear chasing you. I don't know how true it is. So if you have a bear chasing you,
I think
take
depends
this
what,
with a grain of salt.
What kind of bear though? It depends what kind.
I don't know.
You're
Any
supposed
bear.
to fight them differently.
All bears. This works.
Okay.
You play, like, keep away behind a tree, and eventually the bear just gets sick of it and leaves. That's what I heard. I don't know how big the tree is. I mean, obviously it can't be a sapling.
Yeah.
Got to be something that, like, with some girth there, you know?
Can't
But
be one
yeah.
you just planted.
Yeah. Like, I'm behind the rose bush, like, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I heard. I don't know. It sounds
Where'd
good.
you hear it from?
I can't tell you. Confidential source. Guy that survived 7 bear attacks, so.
'Cause usually whenever I say like I heard it from, like I have no idea who I heard it from.
Yeah,
Just
I know exactly who I heard it from.
have
And
fun.
I know he survived it. I don't know, what was it? 6 to 12 bear attacks?
Oh,
So, yeah, it's
We're
crazy.
talking black bear probably.
Black bear. No, he was a white guy.
From the waist down.
I think all around. I never saw him from the waist down. He wore pants a lot
Well, he
around
could
me.
have been black.
Yeah, he could have.
We don't judge.
So we move on to encounter number 4.
4. I thought there was 3.
What?
I thought you said there was 3 encounters.
I said that was encounter number 3, the last one.
I thought from the beginning.
No, I said there was like 4 to 5 encounters.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Number 4.
In the sweltering July night of 1967. So this sucker went in, like, went hiding for like a hot minute. Detroit was on the cusp of an event that would forever change its city's history. The city was already a cauldron of racial tension, economic disparity, and growing frustration among its African American tenants.
Can you remind me again what year we're at now from the?
1967.
Oh, so we like 100 and
Yeah, or what, 150 years?
yeah.
Or
something
push 140 years.
Damn. So this little guy was tied up for 100.
I like to think he just goes and lives his best life during these times, though.
Maybe he just poofs off to like a different planet where there's a bunch of other little shits like him running around.
Off to Neverland. He could be like intergalactical.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That's what the thought is with Mothman, you know?
Yeah. A lot of these stupids.
Stupids?
I don't. I don't know what I said that.
Hey, yeah, the freaking stupids. So, anyways,
I'm
going
just
back.
as surprised as you, buddy.
It's just like he said it and looked at me like, oh crap.
Yeah, I didn't mean to say that.
Like, I'm not actually just insulting this little red bastard. Let's get that clear right now. So, back to the growing frustration of the African Americans. It all started when two local utility workers in the city, while working, saw the Rouge smiling as it walked the streets of Detroit one day.
Did they know what this thing was though at that point? Because that's 150 years. Like, were these stories passed on for 100?
I think this is. I mean, we'll learn later. Like
Yeah.
now for sure, it's part of like
Yeah.
local legend. But I think it. I don't know.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah, for sure. This is
150
a
years,
long
like-
time.
yeah, they didn't have internet back then.
I do think there was something significant about like when that general in the last story. What was his name again? Big just
I
total.
think it was William Shatner.
No,
General William Shatner.
General Hall.
Oh yeah.
You're thinking of the fact that you shat yourself earlier.
I did.
Like, I think a lot of people, though, through history and through this region, knew the story of General Hall, just openly admitting, like, I'm not even fighting the British.
Dude, that guy had to have been like made fun of.
Yeah,
for
he
that.
should.
Like, yeah.
He should.
Like,
It's like the captain of the Titanic. You go down with the ship.
Hell
It is
yeah.
what it is. It's what you have to do.
you have to. Like, it's your job.
If you're the general,
of Detroit.
yeah, this dude was the general of the fort. Like, he was in charge of the fort. It was his job to monitor everything in this
He's
fort.
just like,
That was his job. Like,
ah.
yeah. It's like, oh crap, that looks like a lot of them I am.
Yeah. Here you go.
And he probably just like threw the keys from the top and went out the back door then, you know, like didn't even stick
He
around.
probably just sat him there and ran out
Yeah,
the back.
yeah.
Left a little note.
It's like, yeah, yeah. Make sure to feed the dog.
What the hell?
Yeah. So I mean, like I think that was pretty significant, like
Yeah.
through history, is that he just blamed a little red dwarf for giving up like this huge port.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have cost him the war when it was all said and done. Is him just bouncing from this place. So after the utility workers saw the smiling Rouge, it wasn't long. I think it was like the next day after they saw this ominous creature. The hours of July 23rd, 1967, the Detroit Police Department conducted a raid on an unlicensed after-hours bar, known locally as a Blind Pig, on 12th Street. Now, 12th Street's called. I would say this is the second biggest name you hear in it's the second biggest name behind Martin Luther King when it comes to African American rights.
I know who it is.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I can't think of the name.
I'll give you a hint. All she did was just not stand up. Rosa Parks, man. Rosa Parks.
Okay.
Rosa
I
Parks.
was like, sit down. Like, what's
Sinbad.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
So
say.
it's now called Rosa Parks Boulevard. The bar was filled with patrons celebrating the return of two local African American veterans from the Vietnam War. As the police attempted to arrest the 82 people inside, a crowd began to gather outside, angry and defiant. So really, they were doing something that's illegal. But I mean, like, they were just out having a party, essentially, you know, an unlicensed bar. So more than likely, this was just like a party at somebody's establishment for
Yeah.
like two guys that came home, you know. And basically, the cops just showed up and they're just kind of dicks. You know, like everybody quit drinking. It's like, what do you mean quit drinking? It's 7 a.m. We just got to start again. You know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
they're hitting them early in the morning. So what started was a small, tense confrontation, quickly escalating into widespread chaos. By dawn, the crowd had grown, and the first signs of unrest began to emerge. The air was thick with anger and frustration, and soon windows were shattered.
Did you say this was like African American like area? So was it like
yeah,
probably like white police?
yeah, for sure.
Like,
Yeah.
So probably
Especially in like the 60s and stuff. You
yeah.
know? Looting began and fires were set. The flames lit up the night sky, casting an eerie glow over the city. As the day progressed, the unrest spread like wildfire. Buildings were torched, stores were ransacked, and violence erupted on the streets. The police, overwhelmed and ill-prepared for the scale of uprising, struggled to retain control. The National Guard was called in, and eventually, federal troops were deployed to quiet the riots.
Damn.
For 5 days, Detroit was engulfed in an inferno of rage. Like, this is this is the 60s. You know, I feel like when there's a fire and stuff like that happened in 1802, it's like, yeah, you don't have but this is like these people rioted for 5 days straight. They couldn't get under control. So it was engulfed in an
It's only
inferno
like 50,
of rage.
60 years ago.
Yeah, it's really not that long.
Mm.
Entire neighborhoods were reduced to smoldering ruins, and the city was plunged into chaos. The sound of gunfire echoed through the streets, and the smell of smoke lingered in the air. The violence claimed the lives of 43 people, left hundreds injured, and resulted in over 7,000 arrests.
7,000 arrests.
7,000 arrests.
Holy shit.
Thousands of buildings were damaged or destroyed, leaving a lasting scar on the city's landscape. Amid the turmoil, stories of heroism and resilience emerged. And this is where I'm always getting, like, when you read a lot of these stories where the Rouge showed up, there's always this, like, it seemed like these horrible events happen, and the only thing that stops them is, like, people just coming to just, like, kick ass, essentially. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even in the last fort, it wasn't until, like, the next general got there, and it's like, we got to take back Detroit. Took back Detroit, brought morale, brought, like, celebration back to the city. Like, all these events happen, and through all the bad, something super good happens through the end of it, and that's what a lot of people are remembered for. So the hero and resilience.
Is there, like, a name for this, like, the event that happened in Detroit? Like, you know how every
I think
big
it's just
event has...
it's just referred to the
Curious.
Detroit riots.
Yeah, okay. I was just curious.
Yeah, like the 1967 Detroit riots is what I kind of have in the notes. Neighbors banded together to protect their homes and businesses, while community leaders worked tirelessly to restore peace. The riots, though devastating, also shone light on the deep-seated issues that had fueled the unrest, prompting calls for social and economic reform. The 1967 Detroit riots were a turning point in the city's history. They highlighted the urgent need to change and set the stage for future efforts to address the systematic inequality that had plagued the city for decades. The legacy of riots served as a powerful reminder of the impacts of social injustice and enduring strength of a community determined to rebuild and heal. And it seems like after all these, like, so I was just talking about it where something good happened. After all these, it's almost like the Rouge just is making Detroit, like, stronger. You know what I mean?
He's, like, building it up.
Yeah, like he like you know how they say like a blade sharpened, you know, like through, it's got to be something hard to sharpen the blade. You know, it's like these, like, hard, crappy tests are making this, like, city harder and harder and, like, more badass in a way.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, I don't think of the city of Detroit and just think like that's a sissy ass city.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's like a working class, kick your ass city. That's just how I look at it from the outside.
I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't walk around at night either in Detroit.
I wouldn't go there with a wet noodle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Spaghetti.
You might get your noodle wet.
Yeah, they hate spaghetti in Detroit. Hate it.
Mom's spaghetti.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're right. Maybe they don't hate spaghetti.
They got the M&M's got a whole mom's spaghetti restaurant.
And here we are on to encounter number 5, and this
Number
is the
5.
final encounter.
Ooh, what year are we at now? How many years did this
9 years.
Ooh, 9 years. Ooh, it's shorter.
9 years later, on the eve of one of the worst storms to hit Detroit in the modern era, the Nain Rouge was spotted on the streets once again. in the days to come, the city would know his reason for being there.
Ooh.
It was a cold winter morning in early March 1976
76.
when the skies over Detroit began to darken with heavy and ominous clouds. The National Weather Service had issued warnings of an impending ice storm, but few could have predicted the extent of the devastation that was about to unfold. As the day wore on, the rain began quick. As the day wore on, the rain began to fall, quickly turning into freezing rain as temperatures plummeted. The raindrops froze upon contact with the ground, trees, and power lines, coating everything in a thick layer of ice. By the evening, the city was transformed into a winter wonderland, but one that brought more hardship than beauty. And dude, like, ice storms are the worst.
Oh, yeah.
I remember working, like, I worked on power lines for a while, and I went to, like, Oklahoma City years ago for an ice storm, and that stuff just, just miles and miles. It sucks because it'll just, like, break, like, the line at every pole. You know what I mean? It's not like it's just, like, one or two spots it breaks, and then just broken. So you're just there forever.
So you just got to keep putting it back up at every single pole?
You just put it up, you get like a hoist out, you crank it together, and they have these things called like pickles that are almost like a Chinese finger trap where you put them in and can't get them out. You just pop it into that and onto the next one. Crank, pop it into that. Because everything's dead, you know. It's nothing's, but it's just like.
They got some of those in Tinker Toys. Me and the boys play with Tinker Toys. They got some of those little things that just
hoist.
Kind of. I mean, they're not exactly.
You talking about the finger traps, or the hoist?
Yeah.
The hoist that crank things together.
It doesn't
like
crank anything together. It just pops them together. Just reminded me of the old Tinker Toys.
Freaking Chinese Tinker Toys are weird to me too. I can't get into them. I try and play with them, but it's like I don't know. She had one where you can build these like big old chickens and stuff. I got like a video of like my daughter when she's really young, where me and her built this big chicken with the Tinker Toys. It's pretty good, but like I don't know. They're just weird. We got like. Because, like, we don't have, like, Tinker Toys. We have, like, Winker Toys where they're just the off-brand. So they don't quite fit right with anything. And
I got a perfect – this is a question that we're going to go off topic for a second here, folks. You said off-brand.
Yeah.
Okay. This has been something I've been wanting to throw in the cast for at least a couple weeks now.
Okay.
All right. So, being a homeowner, being a husband, family man that you are.
I am?
You present that way.
Well, me and the bank share the home, really.
Yeah.
The bank owns a good majority of it, like most of it.
Well, you squat there.
Yeah.
But
you rent it from them.
What? Okay. I just want to hear your opinion here. So, what do you feel like is one item that you buy at the grocery store that cannot be an off-brand item?
Ketchup. It's got to be Heinz ketchup.
You're disappointing me here.
Why? What do you have that can't be an off-brand?
Toilet paper.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Listen to this. My wife bought this huge thing of toilet paper, right?
Did you ever had crappy ketchup though?
I don't like ketchup.
Yeah, I mean, so for somebody so you don't like ketchup, that's fine, dude. Like crappy ketchup hits really different. Like it ain't even the right color a lot of times.
Crappy toilet paper also hits different.
No, it cuts different. Now, listen, I don't want to talk about toilet paper because I am in an active feud at my house right now over toilet paper.
We have like 40 rolls of the cheapest toilet paper that you could buy. I would get better toilet paper at any rest area, any crappy gas station from here to Mississippi.
Yeah, dude, that is bad.
You put your finger goes right up your butthole with every wipe.
Ooh.
Because it's as thin as.
That don't sound bad.
I don't know, what's something that's really thin?
Something that's really thin. Crappy toilet paper.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm using so much of this just trying to get rid of it, and we just have so many rolls left, and I can't do it anymore. And it's like wiping with sandpaper.
Oh, dude. So, yeah. I'm going through a toilet paper struggle myself right now.
Well, that's my toilet paper struggle. So let's hear yours.
It's not far off from yours, but she got for Christmas. For Christmas, which this was like an awesome Christmas idea. Her mom just brought like a box of stuff over, like 50 gifts wrapped for us. and all it consisted of was like toothpaste, toilet paper, like all stuff we use for the like awesome gift for us. And it worked out great because we let the kids unwrap it, so they got to unwrap for like ever, you know. And they kids, they don't care what they're unwrapping.
No, they don't give a shit. They just throw it anyway.
Yeah. So like it worked out perfect because she was just like, yeah, why don't you two unwrap this while, you know, your mom and dad drink their coffee? So it's like, this is perfect. So she got this like organic, I don't know what the hell it is, toilet paper.
Organic
toilet paper. Dude, my bunghole started hurting because it was
You're
like
probably
so
growing
rough.
shit out of your butthole.
Dude, it was wrong. Like, I don't know. I feel like I could like rooch my ass across this table and it would feel better on it than this organic toilet paper that we have. And I said,
I'll trade you.
Dude, I might do
I'll
that.
trade you a couple rolls of ours for yours.
Because I got to wipe with crappy toilet paper at work. I actually thought the one day I was like pooping in there, right? And we have this, you know, like you go to work, you got crappy toilet paper. It's like half ply toilet paper, so you got to use like
it's the big rolls.
Yeah,
dude.
yes, yeah. And it's in the big thing, and it doesn't want to come out quite right, so you get like 6 foot and it'll rip, and that's not enough to wipe with because it's so thin. You need like 38 foot of it to wrap around itself. But I was looking there one day when I was in there pooping, and I was thinking, I think I can just hide like a good piece of toilet paper up in the ceiling tiles because I think if I get on top of the toilet before I can reach it. But I'm not sure if I can reach it or not. And then I'm like, well, what if somebody walks in when I'm like reaching up? Because it's like a community bath. There's like 4 or 5 toilets in there. So what if somebody walks in when I'm reaching up in the ceiling tiles to get my stash of toilet paper? I don't know. I'm torn. I'm torn.
Hold on. We're going to follow up on that right there.
Okay.
When I worked with the juveniles, a lot of the kids had...
They would just eat toilet paper.
No, worse. So a lot of them had like sexual behavior problems. So anyway, they would hide stuff up in the ceiling tiles in the bathroom.
Like dildos?
Just you wait, buddy.
Oh man.
So
I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to.
So me as the supervisor, I would periodically go down to the bathroom because they had a couple different bathrooms.
Yeah, you have like a nose like a German Shepherd. Too.
So I felt like a private investigator. So like my ass would go down there after they would come up from school. I'd put on the gloves. I'd move the tiles around. I'd reach up there. I found a homemade Fifi.
Oh, hell yeah.
It was a roll of toilet paper.
Yeah.
And then in the middle of it was like
bubble gum.
No, it was a glove.
Okay.
What's the material?
Cloth.
No, not cloth glove. Just just what the hell? Latex. Just
latex.
Like the latex
Ooh,
glove.
so it's just like
just shoved in the middle. So I'm like up there just reaching
and you
around.
stuck your hand right in it. It's like
yeah, dude. You know what else I found? I found probably three to 5 latex gloves that all had poop on the fingertips.
All right, so here we go. Back to the ice storm. I'm cutting us off right here.
Go ahead.
The ice storm wreaked havoc on the city's infrastructure. Trees weighed down by the heavy ice began to snap and fall, taking down power lines with them. The streets were soon littered with falling branches and debris, and the power outages began to spread. Thousands of homes, businesses were plunged into darkness, leaving residents without heat or light in the freezing temperatures. Utility crews worked tirelessly to restore power, but the ice made their efforts difficult and dangerous. They labored around the clock, braving the cold and the treacherous conditions to repair the downed lines. Despite their best efforts, it took days to restore power to many areas, and some residents were left without electricity for over a week. The ice storm also had a profound impact on the daily lives of Detroiters.
I like it.
Schools were closed, businesses shut their doors, and residents huddled together for warmth in their homes. Many sought refuge in local shelters or with friends and family who still had power. The community came together, again, sharing the resources and offering support to those in need. As the days passed, the ice began to melt, and life slowly returned to normal. The 1976 ice storm left a lasting impression on the city, serving as a reminder of the power of nature and the resilience of its people. The event became a part of Detroit's weather history, often cited as one of the worst ice storms the city had ever experienced. And with this ice storm, I guess I didn't dive into. I forgot to dive into it at the beginning, but basically, like a day or two before this ice storm again the Rouge was just like seen like just like waltzing up the streets of Detroit. Like it cracks me up like when you just like hang like hey y'all, I'm back. And
Yeah.
like people are gonna be excited
What
to
if,
see
what
him.
if he doesn't even know what's gonna happen though?
Yeah,
What if
don't-
he just gets summoned and he just pops up and he's like, "Oh, I'm here, but
What-
I don't know what's gonna
What
happen."
if there's just a family of red dwarfs that live there, and when they finally muster up the courage to go outside, something horrible happens every time? Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would suck. So yeah, that's the 5 main encounters with the Rouge that happened.
So do you know if there hasn't been any since then?
Not since
That you've
then,
seen?
no. Nope.
Interesting. So that was what year was that? 1970. What'd you say?
1976.
1976. So we're talking about what, 25 or 50? I mean, sorry,
I
50.
was gonna say you're way off.
No, I meant I was in my head. I was like 25, 25.
Yeah.
It was,
So 49
like,
years ago.
yeah.
Yep. So he's been out of there.
and
but-
as long as, at least in your stories, was like 150 years. Or something.
Yeah, he had a
So-
long break there for a while.
So I mean, we might see him again in another 100 years.
Yeah,
So
he could.
we heard about all the different
Encounters?
Encounters.
Encounters, we could say. Yeah.
encounters with the Nain Rouge. So what kind of impact has this had on the city?
So the city's really, I guess, kind of like embrace. It reminds me a lot of like Krampus, where the city really embraced like the folklore of this thing. So the legend of the Rouge has become a key part of Detroit's cultural identity, providing a unique folklore that adds depth to the city's history and traditions. And every year there's an annual celebration. The Marche de la Rouge is an annual parade held in Detroit around the time of the spring equinox. It's a lively and colorful event where thousands of people gather to celebrate their city and chase away the mythical Nain Rouge, a creature believed to be the harbor of doom. This year it's scheduled for March 20th. So we can still make
Ooh,
it this year if
it's
we want
coming
to
up.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to just plan out. Like maybe next year we just plan out the whole year of like.
Just road trip.
I don't think our wives, will like that too much, but
I mean, we'll have to keep the sponsors happy by that time, hopefully.
yeah. Hear that new trail?
Yeah. Participants dress in elaborate costumes, build creative floats, and join marching bands to parade around Midtown Detroit. The event culminates at the Mosaic Temple, where there's an official after party. It's a fun and spirited way for the community to come together and celebrate Detroit's history and look forward to the future. The Rouge has been a pretty big tourist attraction, being the local legend. Historians and folklore enthusiasts often go to Detroit just to kind of see some of the landmarks that are associated with it. And really, I talked about this earlier, the Rouge has just become a symbol of resilience for the city. The city has had all these events happen and always bounce back from all of them. And I think it's kind of just, it's built.
We built this city.
I always think, do you ever watch the show New Girl?
Negative.
All right, so there's this
Wait,
guy.
actually, I have. I think.
So there's
Who's in it?
I don't know, people.
I might have.
Zoe Deschanel.
Kendra might have watched it.
Okay. Anywho,
Go ahead.
like how it's like, who's in that? Is Ben Affleck in that? Because I know what the hell that is. Then, who would I have said that you would have been like, oh hell yeah, that dude's in it?
That chick from Scary Movie.
No, she's not in it.
Okay. There's a show with her in it that.
Yeah, it's not New Girl.
Okay.
The show got canceled after like 3 episodes. No, I don't know. I know what show you're talking about. I don't know.
I don't know what
I
it's
know you're
called.
talking about though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyways, there's this guy on it. His name's Schmidt, and when he was like younger, I always sing this song because like my last name's Smith. I feel like I can let my last name slip because my name's Mike Smith. Good luck finding me. So, like, but Schmidt, I always say, we built this Smitty. We built this Smitty on Tootsie Rolls. Yeah, he's fat, so they always make him sing that song. That's what I always think. I always sing that to my wife about building this Smitty.
Nice. Yeah. Took a lot to build that, Smitty.
It did take a lot of beer,
Yeah.
a lot of anger, and dude,
Beer?
I had one of those days at home today. Like I'm sure you had it, where you feel like your kids are just bullying you.
Oh yeah.
Like I felt like my oldest was just bullying me today. Like there was no like, hey, do you want to do that? It's like, let's do this, let's do that. Scratch my back. Then at one point she just doinked me in the face with this hard toy as I'm like watching Shrek 2 with her, and it's like, what the hell do you want from me
Do you
right
want
now?
to fight? Like,
yeah,
do you want
like,
to put
what
on
the
the
hell's
gloves?
going? Like I am so over this.
Yeah.
It's one of those days where it's just like. At one point, I looked and every kid was just like screaming. Like even the little guy who can't talk, he's just like screaming because he wants something, and it's like.
Yeah.
I gotta get out. I just gotta go stand in the kitchen for like 5 minutes to get the hell away from all this right now.
Oh yeah, I feel like that. Yeah. I can only imagine when we have the baby here, in 2 months out. Yeah.
So with the city of Detroit, they've really leaned into the embracing of embracing into the tradition. Instead of shying away from it, they really just kind of built into how this symbol of misfortune's built this town. And through everything that's gone on, it's built the community up. We talked about in the ice storm how everybody was helping everybody. Everybody helping everybody. Everybody.
In the club getting tips.
In the economic revitalization, Nain Rouge has also contributed to this. The annual event attracts visitors, boosts local businesses, and brings positive attention. So, this whole parade is like a big thing in the town that's able to help the town make a little extra money. And also there's been a lot of artistic inspiration from this thing because I could see like artsy people getting into this.
Oh, yeah.
This is like Jack. You know how like all artsy people are obsessed with Jack the Pumpkin King?
Yeah.
And they like wear like I remember the kids in school that wore like the Jack gloves. It's like, all right, that's cool. You like that movie? It's a good movie.
I never liked that movie until I had kids. And then
Dude, I'm the same way.
My oldest was like obsessed with it, and I'm like,
this movie's alright.
Yeah, that's when I was like, okay.
Yeah, I get stuck watching Hocus Pocus 2 all the time.
Ooh.
Yeah, which isn't bad. I'm glad that Hocus Pocus 2 is all right.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a lot worse than it was, and I could deal with it.
Yeah, I didn't live up to the first one, but I don't think many movies
But
do.
I'm going to be honest with you. The more I watch the first one, the more I'm like, well, this isn't that good of a movie either. It's just like it's like embedded in my head that it's a good movie,
Yeah. Theories.
Yeah, we got a couple theories. So, like the first one is just the folkloric entity.
Folkloric, I like it.
Folkloric, yeah.
Yeah.
It might be a mythical creature. What are you laughing about?
I'm just like, theories.
Yeah, theories. Yeah, go. Theories, go.
All right.
It might,
Should I restart that?
I don't care. You can if you want.
Go ahead.
All right.
Fuck it.
It might be a mythical creature rooted in folklore, embodying the superstitions and fears of early settlers and indigenous peoples. It appears before disasters. Could be a way to explain and cope with those events. The symbolic figure. It could represent the collective anxieties and struggles of the Detroit residents by giving a face to the misfortune. The natural phenomenon. Some theories suggest that sightings of the Rouge may be misinterpreted of natural phenomenon, such as shadows, casual weather patterns, and even local wildfires. Cultural tradition in modern times, the Rouge has become a cultural symbol of Detroit with the annual parade and festivities as a way.
Do you know how long they've been doing that parade for?
No, I don't. I'm not sure. Yeah.
That's cool though.
Yeah, the way to celebrate their resilience, and essentially they think when they have this parade, it banishes him from coming to the town. Like we celebrate him, so we banish him in that way, And there's the psychological manifestation that the Rouge could be psychological construct, a way for people to embody and confront their fears, uncertainties, and hardships. So, Corey, I have two comparisons.
Hold on, before we get to those comparisons, I just wanted to, based off the theories and stuff, I just want to say again, I think that this thing was created, manifested, whatever you want to say, by, the Native Americans.
You think it's the Native American thing?
I think so. I mean, just based off of, some of the stories that you went over with, the battle and stuff, I don't know. I mean, they were here before us.
Yeah, it would make sense if they put a curse on the land when they lost it too,
Yeah, this is our land. This was our land first.
We built this city.
We built this city. We built this Smitty.
On Tootsie Rolls.
Tootsie Rolls.
No, I mean it could. That could be a theory. feel
Like,
you-
what do you think? Like, what's your thoughts? Like, I know you just went over that and stuff. Like, what do you think? Like, what's your perception on this little guy?
I think it's more of like maybe the original story with the fortune teller and stuff was more of just a way to scare this guy. I always think of like this. I think maybe he was just a little too cocky because he does seem too cocky
Yeah.
for his britches. So this was like a way to kind of like knock him down a peg or two. And I think it was just passed around as a way for people to cope with these like events that
Events.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think when you have certain events that really hit close to home, and a lot of these, I mean, like almost all of Detroit got burned down in the fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that is like significant. I feel like it's easier to just like kind of like go towards
Supernatural.
the supernatural or just blame something for it. Whether it's true or not, I mean, or else you could just be a freak, you know? He could be a manifestation of Native American culture. Never know.
Yeah.
So, but I have two comparisons to dive into.
Let's hear him.
So, the first one is the Lutin, which is French folklore. The Lutin is a hobgoblin-like creature that can be mischievous and malevolent. And like you said earlier, like kind of like a trickster, you know?
Yeah.
Similar to the Rouge, the Lutin is often associated with bringing bad luck or causing trouble. The second comparison is I want to compare him to the Mothman. Because this is, I'm one of the, there's a couple things that made, obviously, he's seen it when
Like
bad events are going to
yeah.
happen. You know, he's witnessed. Now, he's not witnessed in the extremities that the Mothman, like the Mothman was witnessed how many times before the collapse of the bridge, you know? I mean, they're,
Yeah, I feel like Mothmans, they weren't as like significant events as
yeah, I mean, yeah, this dude shows up to like big ones.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like Mothman shows up to, different things happening for sure.
Yeah, like this dude only comes out, like the Rouge only comes out for the biggest event.
Death
like,
and
it's-
destruction.
Yeah, like it's happening. He's not hanging around for, because Mothman was there for like 11 months before the Silver Bridge actually collapsed or anything like that. But I just thought of like the red eyes that this thing was
Yeah.
compared to. I don't know, and I thought you brought up a really good point where you said about, does this thing just go to back to its planet and just like,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of theories that think like Mothman is like an intergalactic traveler and stuff like that I think we're going to dive into maybe in the next month or two, and I'm going to break down the Men in Black, and we're going to get into some of that some
I'm
more.
excited for that. I have a beer that's been sitting in there waiting for you to do that.
It is going to be so out of date because it's been like waiting for a hot minute.
We're just aging it.
Yeah, for sure. I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit.
I'll drink that shit.
Yeah, for sure. It's free beer. You kidding
Yeah.
me? But yeah,
Good for
I just there's so many I see a comparison between this thing and the Mothman. Just that the only difference is there's 5 events that this thing was supposedly seen at
Yeah.
before compared to Mothman's just one event. But Mothman was, I don't know. And then if you compare it to Mothman, could we compare it to the Jersey Devil too? Because I think the Jersey Devil and the Mothman are very similar.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance that the Jersey Devil is the Mothman.
Yeah, we talked about that in the
Yeah,
Jersey Devil
like
episode.
there's definitely like there's a good
Yeah.
chance.
And the Snallygaster.
The Snallygaster, there's a chance that
Like,
that is
it's
just
all
all
this-
the same
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Could the Rouge fit? I mean, obviously the Rouge is much smaller. Could he fit in that same? I mean,
He was just an illegitimate child of.
yeah, we're looking
of
like,
them.
but he's older than all of them too.
True.
So is he granddaddy? You know how you get small when you get older? You know,
yeah.
he just keeps on shrinking.
Yeah.
He started as like a 15-footer. he's down to like 2 right now.
Yeah, he was over with the old lads and the
Yeah.
Grilla.
But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I think there's a lot of really good theories and a lot of ways that they can be.
I'm
all
interested to see
compared.
like when the next sighting is gonna be of this.
Yeah, and dude, if there is a sighting, buddy, we are going to be doing a live.
We might be
report on
we
that
might
shit.
be dead.
We could be dead. I'll be
We
lucky.
might have 100 more years.
I'll be lucky if I'm here next year at this time with the way I
Me
live
too
my
with
life.
my cholesterol.
Yeah, you're right. I will be the sole owner of the cast.
We might have to leave this down to like our buddy Aaron.
Yeah. Yeah. That's scary. That's scary.
2-page Aaron.
2-page Aaron. Well, with that, we're going to head into the folklore score if you're ready for that.
I'm ready.
You got anything else to add?
Nope.
All right, folklore score it.
All right, we're back here. Or we're not back. We didn't go anywhere.
I don't know.
We're here.
Corey throws it over, so here we go.
Let's get into the folklore score there, folks.
Let's do it. All right, so Corey, what do you got for a score?
I got a 27.
I got a 30. It's going to leave him right off the board
57.
at 57, which we said beforehand. We
Yeah.
we were talking, we were making our scores. It was going to be close to him making the board.
And he was close.
He was close. Just off. The Boo Hag is safe. Dude, I feel like the Boo Hag,
has been hanging on.
dude, just hagging on.
Yeah.
Hagging on like a boo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
All right, so we'll dive into our scores a little bit. If you're not familiar with it, we do a folklore score at the end of every episode. We have 5 categories: spookiness, historical and cultural significance, believability, uniqueness, and threat level. We score it 1 to 10, get our score. Obviously, 100 would be the top score if it was.
We smush them together.
We smush them together to
Like
get
our
for the
cheeks.
total. Yeah, like our cheeks.
Like that one episode early on.
Like our, yeah, well, I don't even remember that, but I'll believe you. All right, so spookiness, I gave it a 5.
I gave it a 5 too.
Hell yeah, that's we're like right in the middle road. It's kind of spooky.
Mhm.
Historical or cultural significance,
I gave it a 5.
I gave it an 8 because it's big in that region.
Yeah.
I could also see giving it a little bit lower because it's not like super well known throughout the United States or anything
Yeah.
like that.
And it's like that region compared to like everything else is like
Yeah, for
you know,
sure.
not huge. So that's
Yeah.
why I was kind of like 5.
Believability,
I gave her a 4.
I gave it a 3.
Yep.
Yeah. Uniqueness, I gave it a 6.
I gave it a 6 as well.
Hell yeah. And
Hell
threat level, I gave it an 8.
I gave it a 7.
So we're pretty much right on par with everything except for the historical, cultural significance, which I'm totally cool with.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's neat when you go through this because I feel like we can look at kind of how we have it broken down, but we can still look at it totally differently.
Yeah.
And I feel like we typically do. But this is another one where you had a lower score than me. So like the second or third time this has happened.
Third or fourth.
Third or fourth. I don't believe it was that many.
I'm gonna say 4. I'll check the spreadsheet.
Corey's saying it's fourth. He's saying it's the fourth.
Definitely the 4th.
I'm not buying it.
I'm gonna say 5th, just because.
Damn, I'm saying this might be the third. And
Okay.
with that, folks.
Oh, I wanted to hit it on
Yeah,
that.
you missed it. You gotta be. It's like the guy with the dollar. You gotta be quicker than
You gotta
that.
be quicker than that.
Go ahead, Corey. Hit it.
All right. And with that,
Oh, that was horrible. I can't. I gotta edit that out.
The,
That was
the people are
horrible.
gonna like it better.
No, I
They're
don't
tired
think so.
of your
No way. They never get tired of me.
trombone voice.
They never get fucking baritone, man.
You're-
I'm freaking running horse. Dude, we were like fighting colds in this cast. We didn't record. Was it last week we didn't record anything? Because you were just like.
No, we recorded last week.
Was it last week? We took like a week off there for a little bit
Yeah.
because we were just like we were hurting.
Yeah.
Voices were hurting. I didn't even know if we were gonna be able to record this week because dude, on Saturday I sounded like freaking Robert Kennedy. I went to yell at the kids. That's how it was freaking horrible. I couldn't deal with that.
And with that,
And with that, I'm Crack Daddy Mike, and I'm out. Make sure to follow us on all major social medias: Facebook, Marketplace, eBay, Craigslist.
MySpace.
We do escort stuff on Craigslist, so
Mm-hmm.
if you're into
I'll
it,
show my titties.
yeah. And Corey will let you
Twirl
put
my
your
hair.
wiener in his beard. And with that, I'm Crack Daddy Mike. I'm out here. Follow us on all socials. Kraken Cans Cast.
I'm BK Corey. Go ahead and follow us on X too. I've been posting more on X for us. So we've been cranking that up a little bit. We still only got like a couple followers, but we're trying to get it. We're trying.
You got to start somewhere, I guess.
Yeah, we gotta start somewhere. But Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Mike's dumb.
And TikTok. Oh wait, you did say TikTok.
Yeah,
I
you're
felt like
dumb.
I don't know. I felt like you missed something there. All right, I'm out.
Yep, Mike's dumb.
Corey, stupid.